Assalamu alaikum. Good evening. Welcome to tonight's episode of Talking Point. As usual, I'm your host, Saeed Niaz Ahmed. In our studios today, we have a very distinguished person from India. He's a well-known filmmaker, Mr. Gautam Ghosh. He's here in connection with the screening of his latest film, Parikrama, that will be released today. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
My pleasure.
Next to him, sitting here, is the organization that is organizing the show and the release of the film, is Nazreen Islam from UK Film Festival Association.
UK Asian Film Festival.
Asian, okay. All right. And next to Nazreen is our well-known ambassador of culture, music, art, and whatever you have got there, Mr. Keshar Ahmed, well known as Keshar Ji.
Thank you.
Let's begin with our most distinguished guest, Mr. Gautam Ghosh. In brief, what brings you to London?
Primarily the screening of my film in UK FF Festival. So that's why I'm here. I think yesterday there was a screening at Warwickshire, and today there's a screening at Garden Cinema, London. That's the basic reason of coming here, and also meeting friends like Azhar and many other friends. And maybe, before I leave for Cannes, I'll try to interact with people after watching the film, what they, how they react, and what's their reaction.
Right.
So
Right.
that's the
It's kind of
main reason.
getting
yeah.
the feedback from your film.
Yeah, of course, like that, because when you make a film, it's a very interesting medium that you play with cinematic time in a particular space, and how much experience you could share with your audience.
Right.
I've been making films for almost for 5 decades, so I have a varied experience of interacting with the audience. And cinema is not theater. In theater, it's very interesting that you participate with your audience, and after a particular show, you can do a little bit of change,
The first night,
modification,
and the second night, and the third night,
like that.
yeah.
But in cinema, it's impossible. Once it is made, it's
It's like an arrow, it's stuck in the air.
absolutely.
Your latest film, Parikrama, what's it about?
Well, Parikrama means the exact English is circumambulation, means
Going around.
going around, but we call it the journey.
Yes.
The film began long back. A Italian friend of mine, he had written a story for children. Story of Lala. It's about a very brave little boy from Indian village, and his resilience and his responsibility to the family. I love the story. But also because, but I was waiting, or, I was thinking for a real context, a real background to explore the story in a cinematic narrative. And I found it in Narmada Valley. So it is freely adapted from his short story, and we call it Parikrama. It's about a man, an Italian filmmaker who had gone to India many years back, is coming back again to make a film on the Parikrama, on the pilgrims who sort of cross and circumambulate Narmada River. Right. It's an age-old tradition. In the process, he meets a little boy, a hawker boy, and he enters into his story. So this has a kind of a polymorphic vision, I would say, that you see from the vision of Alexandro, the protagonist, Italian protagonist, and Lala, the little boy from Indian village. So it's up to the audience to understand whose vision. And I love this kind of thing, in cinema, because in cinema, I really don't think, a very easy narrative I don't like, because cinema is a very complex medium, so even in the narrative you can create this kind of juxtaposition, I guess.
Right. I would like to ask you a lot more questions about the background, Narmada Bachao. But before that, let me go to Nazreen. Nazreen, you are from the UK Asian Film Festivals, isn't it? What is the role of your organization when Gautam Da is here?
Well, our festival has been running for 27 years now. This is the 27th iteration of the festival. We were incredibly excited when your film came in. Pushpinder and I were in our office when we received that email, and we were very excited to watch your film. We kind of passed it around to the curators immediately. I remember that excitement, especially because I had just joined the team as well in the capacity of a festival administrator. So it was one of the first films I watched during the screening process as well, and it kind of set the tone for my involvement in the festival. We're very proud of the programming that we have kind of locked in for this year's festival. We began on the 1st of May, and we're going to continue till the 11th of May. We're very glad to have Gautam Da here with us today because we're screening Parikrama in the evening.
On to you all.
Of course.
Flattered, yes.
It's a shared
Is this film festival an annual affair?
Yes, it's an annual affair. It happens around this time every single year. And we're very excited to have your screening tonight at the Garden Cinema, which is going to be followed by a Q&A as well.
Oh, great, great. Keshavji, you don't need any introduction at all. Just tell us how you are involved in this.
I'm not involved directly with UK Asian Film Festival, but we are trying to promote Gautam Da's session especially. And I know Pushpinder quite,
the CEO.
Yeah, quite for 6-7 years, and I love her dedication and commitment to promote and build the cinema culture here for the films which are equally powerful considering with world cinema, but again underrepresented. And this is the commitment that I love with Pushpinder. Pushpinder is doing her best to connect audiences and create audiences from all different communities, and she's the one who I can remember about 6-7 years ago. So she's the one through Facebook, because she was aware of Shodha's work and said, well, let us make a partnership perhaps, and please see if we can share audiences, because people come for music and they can equally love film. And this is something that Shodha has been doing for last 14 years, as you know. People say, for instance, those who love Frida Kahlo, they come for Frida Kahlo, but they become admired of Indian classical music, the way we interpret Frida Kahlo's painting. Or say, for instance, we did so many sessions of reinterpreting Indian classical music, merging this with Western. So Sebastian Bach and Rag Chayanot was fused, merged so beautifully in House of Commons. You were there. So audiences, those who are core admirers of India, Western classical, they came to explore the beauty of Western classical, or Sebastian Bach, one of my most favorite composers. And then they become quite regular audiences of Chayanot, Rag Chayanot. So this is what we have been doing, and I feel actually quite passionate when someone has a sincere passion to promote art. And I know that Pushpinder UK Asian Film Festival, what they are doing for what they have been doing for last 27 years, they are promoting, like I said, underrepresented but equally powerful South Asian cinema. It's not just Satyajit. After Satyajit, this festival, this year, I'm sure this year is quite remarkable because Gautam Da is here. So after Satyajit, one of the finest interpreters of South Asian cinema, Sri Gautam Ghosh is one of them. I mean, and then it is not because just he made some powerful films from cinematic language or cinematic reality. Gautamda also has equal passion and commitment. So the versatile range and versatile vision of his filmmaking intrigues me a lot. And I think this is, for UK Asian Film Festival, they screened Rahagir. And that happened in BFI. I'm quite a big fan of BFI. BFI is almost like core place. South Bank was the core place of my activities, and also Gautamda is also saying Satyajit loved this venue as well. Rahagir was so successfully screened there. So many non-Asian.
Rahagir means
wayfarers, exactly, and so many non-Asian film lovers went there, and then they became equally mesmerized by the way Gautamda made that film, and then that made me feel proud. And I can remember I gave you a ring.
Oh my God! You know, frankly speaking, I didn't know much about UK Asian Film Festival. I came to London in connection with the BFI London Festival, I guess 7 times with 7 of my films, but I didn't know much about this festival. It was just after the COVID, or it was about, I think, during the new normal situation, what they used to say. He called me up at night. You know, it was quite late, you know, in Calcutta. And he said, my God, you know, we have seen your film and we are sitting on the South Bank. And he was so excited. And he said, you know, because I didn't know that my producer has entered this film in Asian. So from BFI, he called me up, and his friends, they were so excited. Then, you know, I had a fantastic interaction with Pushpinder ji, you and Mukulika. Mukulika and some other guys, you know, online discussions. And really, I am still have a fond memories of that night. It was fascinating. Even my actors, they participated online. Tilak Toman, Adil Hussain.
They did.
So it was a great memory. So when somebody said that your new film will be in this festival, I was quite excited. And that it's a very serious film festival.
So was the festival, actually, because I remember having conversations with Pushpinder where she spoke very highly of Rahagir and the incredible reception it had during the festival, and that was all the more reason for the team to be that much more excited when Parinama came in as well. It's also a matter of like continuing these relationships and encouraging these connections across boundaries as well. And one of the other points that Pushpinder also highlighted was that it's an Indo-Italian co-production, and that's one of the things that the festival has tried to foreground in the past couple of years as well, this co-production aspect of independent films. On the 10th of May, we do have a co-production panel happening, followed by a screening. So that's also one of the things that we try to foreground and encourage in whatever capacity we can. This is one of the examples.
Let's travel back to the river.
Okay.
That's
you
right.
find a river in so many of my films.
Yes. Now this is Narmada that travels, flows through Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, and Gujarat.
Yeah.
And probably they had also a Narmada Bachao Andolan also.
Because of some agitation. Yeah, of course.
What made you? I mean, and I know you have explained that you like that short story of the gentleman, Italian gentleman, and you like the character Lala. But what made you use that story in relation to Narmada?
Well, you know, I think Narmada is a beautiful river. It has many legends and stories around her. She river, okay? And its journey from the middle of India, to the west, and it finally goes into the Arabian Sea. But all along her path, there are many historical places with so many anecdotes. And now, after this multi dam project, it's been going on for many years. Almost, I think it began with Pandit Nehru, sort of started the Narmada project of sort of diverting the river, making barrage and all that. And of course, it's a long story of Narmada project and agitation against the project. However, for me, it's a very profound river and so beautiful. Narmada, means, which gives you beauty. So that was my fascination to create the backdrop. And I thought this hawker boy is a son of Narmada. And in this film, because, at cinema I shouldn't say much. Cinema should, explore the audience. Here, we find this boy is a mother of, son of Narmada. Another boy, the Italian protagonist's son, is a motherless son. Lost his mother very recently. So in the story we find one boy who lost his mother, another boy who lost his motherland. Because his sort of, that's a whole idea of correlating. And you see that our film is a journey all along the Narmada. Narmada is there with its joy, with its exhilaration, with its tragedy, everything together. Because in river, river creates, it destroys. So, and all civilization is basically a riverine civilization.
Yep, yes.
The river plays a great role.
That was the cheapest mode of transport.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that was, discovery by human race, that this river can take us to the sea. From one sea, you travel to another sea.
That's how Mr.
And so for me,
Columbus
so the river has its own metaphor, for life.
Exactly.
And it's necessary for life.
Yes, absolutely. So sometimes we often forget in the modern world that how much, we can destroy nature for our own benefit. Because, this is a big question today, that how much you can disturb nature. Because nature too has its mind, we often forget. And when nature takes revenge, we have so many examples.
There are floods.
Yes, tsunami and whatnot.
Tsunami and
COVID.
Which hampered your work.
Yeah. That's right. And COVID, of course, I shot the Italian portion before COVID, and then the film got.
You have been busy with this project since 2019.
Yeah, true.
And then you restarted again after the COVID.
Yeah. Thank you.
And after all this, have you realized, have you seen that is Narmada improving the river itself, or as the Andolan, has it worked, or it's just another piece of art and good film?
Andolan, what's actually, first of all, it did work for rehabilitation of people, but it couldn't stop the project. And but Narmada, of course, is a river. It's very, very important river in the heart of the India. So we have to preserve Narmada. We have to restore Narmada wherever, because there are many places all over the world, in US, in Australia. Now they are so dismantling big dams because because of siltation. So because siltation, it creates a lot of problem on the downstream.
Yes, it needs to be dredged.
That's why we need to restore the problems, where Narmada faced a lot of, destruction. We have to restore, because Narmada is a lifeline of its people and it's a symbol of a civilization.
Has it dried up in some places? Has it
dried up? No, not really. Not really. In some places, of course, because of when you put the log gates and you flow is slow. So some places, riverbed goes up. So you find some, especially during the dry months, during summer, some places, streams are there, but not like the Narmada, say 30, 40 years back.
So it has become narrower.
Narrow in some places. But there are huge reservoirs, which of course is serving irrigation and power, which is also is very, very important for the modern civilization. But for me, the river is eternal and it should flow. You cannot stop its natural flow. You have to understand how much, that's exactly I said before, how much you can take from nature without disturbing. And you have to think about the long-term consequences of nature. That's also very important for modern times.
Fantastic, this Narmada. Now, I know that this is not the end of your filmmaking career.
No, I don't think so. I hope not.
I hope not, and we are waiting for more excellent films from you. Viewers, we need to take a break, and when we come back, we will explore more of his work and enjoy. Thank you. Welcome back. Just before the break, we were talking to our distinguished guest today, Mr. Gautam Ghosh, the filmmaker, film producer, narrator, writer, actor, cinematographer, all in one. How many films have you made so far?
You say fiction, non-fiction, altogether?
Yeah, altogether.
Almost 40, 45 films. 17 fiction and rest are non-fiction.
All
films.
In Bangla or
No,
in other languages?
In Hindi, in Telugu. My first fiction film was in Telugu. In English, and multilingual film like this, it's in English, Italian and Hindi. And of course, many non-fiction, which I love making non-fiction documentaries. Many academic films I made. I made films on great personalities like Ustad Bismillah Khan Sahab, then Dalai Lama, even Jyoti Basu, great artists K.G. Subramaniam. I love making films on personalities because that enriches my own vision. You learn so many things from these great people. And also I have done many exploration films like Beyond the Himalayas. Why I'm saying that? Because I love all this. I love adventures. I have made I was part of an expedition along the Central Asia by road, about 14,000 kilometers we covered. Central Asia, Tibet, and then back to India. So I made a film, 5 hours long documentary, which was shown in those days by Discovery Channel. Because that really enriched my vision about the cauldron of culture, that is Central Asia. So it's very interesting, when you make this kind of things. When I make fiction, I use my actors in front of my camera. When I make non-fiction, I try to capture the real moment, or sometimes the artists like Ustad Bismillah Khan, I found him a better actor than many known actors in the world. Because when something went wrong with our trolley, technical problems, I asked the same question. Actually, there was a great guy called Rashid Khan. He was the interpreter of that particular. And Bismillah Khan Sahab answered precisely the same words. Unbelievable. As if because, I thought his mind was absolutely musical. So even his words, the coinage of his words are
the same.
Like a musical bar. So it's a great experience because I enjoy making both fiction and non-fiction.
And I think Bismillah Khan received Bharat Ratna after you made your
Before that I made the film.
Yeah.
Well, you have yourself won so many awards that I lost count.
Well, of course, since the beginning of my career, I've been receiving so many awards. I don't remember, maybe 16, 17 national awards and many international awards, Knapi in 4 times in many festivals. And so many. Anyway, it's okay. Awards is a kind of recognition not only for me but also for my unit members, my colleagues who worked with me, all of them, from the...
Because it's a joint venture. It's a joint
exactly.
work.
That, in a way, inspires the crew members who have worked with you so hard. And I guess award, you shouldn't plan a film targeting award or film festival. I never did it.
But does getting an award make
But nowadays,
any difference?
sometimes what happens with the many independent filmmakers, the big commercial distributors, they don't care for their films. They don't release their films. The festival like this, is kind of a platform for young filmmakers, and some of them are making wonderful films in this digital age. So that's why this festival circuit has become a new circuit for the young filmmakers to show their film. It's a kind of a showcase of cinemas, whether veteran filmmakers or young filmmakers. Because in my opinion, cinema, when we had started in the 70s, I made my first fiction film in 1980. So then cinema was alone, mostly, barring few television channels, very few, that you have to go to the theater to watch that film. Now, it is bombarded with audiovisual.
Yes.
When you get up in the morning till you go to bed, audiovisual everywhere.
It's
And thanks
it's
to
in your
your
pocket.
thanks to your this phone, this is one of the greatest and most successful technology in the history of technology. Science and technology. So audiovisuals are there all around. What I feel now, the filmmakers who really sort of respect the art of cinema, that you have to separate cinema from audiovisual. You have to create a niche for cinema, because what we learned, in the 70s and 80s, that cinema, it has its holistic approach. That this is cinema, art of cinema, and you have to, like a painter or any other artist, create a work of art. A filmmaker should create his or her work of art. That is cinema.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
That was beautifully put. Yes.
Yes.
And I do believe that festivals like ours also function in a kind of ecosystem.
Yeah.
So we also depend on other festivals to use their radar to identify and locate these interesting voices in
Yes, absolutely.
in South Asian
And
cinema.
that's how the way you said about the co-production. Nowadays, co-productions are very important because
Yes.
in co-production, what happens? You get support from many companies or in different countries.
Yes.
So it's interesting, and also you can exchange, not only for the commercial reason, but also for cultural reason. I guess
Yes.
because there's something you try to understand the culture of other nations.
Yes.
That's
Through an exchange of talent,
Absolutely.
And that is
scripts.
perhaps the aim of cinema. Remember, Gautamda was mentioning and quoting from Griffith
Yeah.
a few years back. The Griffith said,
Yeah.
cinema is for audience of one continent to explore other continents and
Yeah.
make the world under just one canopy. And this is perhaps the aim of any
But the pity is that Griffith was a dreamer. He was one of the mentor of cinema, not only in the United States but for the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
And-
my next question was, what
Yeah.
is effective storytelling? And that's what we have talked about. That people should be able to see
Yeah.
the other world.
I didn't get you. Sorry.
No, I said I was going to ask you about what is effective storytelling.
Well, it's very difficult to answer this question. I've been facing this question from last 50 years or so. Very difficult because, if you really, we say that a good narrative, a good story, no, it has to be good cinema narrative. That's the most important thing.
True.
And actually, why you find a film a success or a failure, it's very difficult. You cannot explain. But in my opinion, if you deeply go into the matter, why people go to the movie theater? Question. Do they go to the movie theater just to entertain themselves, or spend some time, or to learn something? There are several things. Why you go to the movie theaters? I think, if you think really deeply, they go to the movie theater to experience time.
Yeah.
This time, time you watch a movie, which is basically everything is in the past. The film was conceived, it was shot, it was edited, but people watch and they experience the time. A cinematic time, which is another thing, is very, very interesting, is different than our linear time. Cinematic time has its own sort of matrix. How you make it. You can tell a story of 2,000 years in 2 years, 2 hours. You can tell a story of 2 hours in 2 hours. You can tell a story of 5 minutes in 3 hours. So that's the power of cinema. I think that's why, it's very difficult that if you can give a new experience of time to your audience, it works.
I think this is quite a remarkable notion, Gautamda, because I have some sort of opposition what Hitchcock said. Hitchcock said, well, your bladder is full, and cinema storytelling is so intriguing that you are focused on the screen, you forget about your bladder, and then once the story finished, then you go. So suspension should be created. But I think this is also another and perhaps most acceptable way. When you go to the movie or cinema, first of all, we are experiencing our time. And secondly, I think every art, cinema is definitely, because this is collaborative art media. I think this is also philosophically, art has a relevance in this life, because it would like to make death oblivious. We like to forget about death, and this is why people are focused in art. People like to, so those stories, why we read a story. This story focuses us perhaps to life, and most of your story, Gautamda story or filmmaker stories are full of life, because it perhaps let us forget about death, and definitely the storytelling has to have some sort of element that we enjoy our time more than whatever media we enjoy, but art is perhaps the best way to celebrate and enjoy our time in life as well.
Yeah, and from a festival,
and cinema is hope.
Cinema is hope.
Yeah. And from a festival point of view, it's also very important for us to bring people together in a theatre and to create that sense of community and shared viewing experience as well. So that's another factor that keeps us pushing for this experience.
Funny question. What are you most happy and satisfied about your career so far?
Well, I'm sure that my next film, that's why I'm leaving.
Kurosawa, you quoted from Kurosawa.
that was Kurosawa, that learn from Kurosawa. I remember there was a fantastic interactive session between Akira Kurosawa, Satyajit Ray, Elia Kazan and Michelangelo Antonioni. Just imagine.
Wow.
Great master. The Ray asked Kurosawa, Mr. Kurosawa, what's your opinion about, which one you find your best film? I think Seven Samurai, he was quiet for some time and said, Mr. Ray, of course he was speaking in Japanese, there was an interpreter. He said, I think should be my next film. That's why I'm leaving. In a way, it's a fantastic comment because after making the film, I believe you have to be your most severe critic.
Exactly.
That what you have done, the mistakes in your film, you have to correct in your next one. So that's very, very important. I think it's a very important question, though. Yeah. But it's true. It's a great struggle for a filmmaker. How you create a better, how you attract your audience, but that's why I said there's no formula. There's no hard and fast rule how you can really make your film a box office success. Even Chaplin couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Chaplin, before the Second World War, all of Chaplin's films were super duper hit all over the world. But after the war, Chaplin had decided that there is no role of his tramp character in this terrible world. Those were the days of romance. Yeah. It's a romantic day. So he changed. He didn't go back to his own typical tramp character. He made Moshe Vedu, he made
even Limelight is perhaps after this.
Limelight, and then a man in New York.
New York, yeah.
New York. And those are very serious films. So people didn't accept Chaplin, except Limelight, I guess.
Yeah.
He made a film mocking Hitler.
Dictator.
The great dictator. So even it didn't work with for filmmaker like Chaplin. So it's very difficult to say.
True.
Which film will really hit the box office.
Well,
sometime, even my own career, I made a film called Dakha, in Perception, we call it. So it was a very cerebral film, and the distributor said to my producer, please make a low release, less number of theaters. But the film unbelievably became a big hit. I don't know, because again, I think the film could give a different experience of time to the audience.
True.
That's the reason. Because always a filmmaker should self-analyze why, when you make a film, why people didn't really accept it.
Right. So that is in a capsule. That is the essence of success.
True.
What is your next project?
Well, it's a couple of things, I'm working on, including a film on a great poet, not a sort of typical biopic, but, it will be between real, unreal and surreal world of a man who had created a new vision in poetry.
Developed a new language.
And developed a new language, Jivanananda Das. He hailed from Borishal. That's in my mind, and Shadu Jaman had written a wonderful novel,
Ekjon
Kamla Lebu. That is one of the sources of my idea. And also there are many sources, because still people are really doing a lot of research on this great poet. So that's in my mind.
You're also quite connected to Bhumendra Guha, one of the
Bhumen Babu, who had
best scholar for Jivanananda Das.
Discovered Jivanananda
Exactly.
after his death.
Exactly.
So that is one film, and also I have another project, and I'm also a little bit, attracted by a project, offered by a company that you make another adventure film, a non-fiction. So I have in mind to make a film on the lemurs near Madagascar. It will be a very symbolic film, showing lemurs are much more civilized than us.
Wow.
And that's in my mind. I'll make a recce first in Madagascar. Some of my friends been there and said, my God, these lemurs are so beautiful, their society, their system. That's in my mind because nowadays I often dream that I'm looking at the blue planet from the space. The space is so serene, barring some meteors falling sound and all that. But when I zoom to the blue planet, a small blue planet in this solar system, as I zoom I can hear the sound of bullet and all kinds of violence, conflicts, intolerance. Terrible things are happening in our blue planet. See, I often dream that everywhere in this universe, all the planets are so beautiful and serene, quietly moving in their own axis. But this blue planet is totally uncivilized, terrible, inhuman.
Well, let's make it habitable and more humane.
Yes, absolutely.
And on that good note, we will close out the program.
We have to make this planet more livable and more human.
Thank you very much, sir.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Nazreen.
Thank you.
And thank you, Keshaji.
Many thanks.
Thanks. The last question to you, sir, is there are many famous actors in India and the world. Has anybody influenced you?
Well, of course, I have admiration for all the actors, whether in our subcontinent or in Japan or in United States or in Europe, everywhere, in Africa. I think actors, you have to create an actor. Sometimes the actors are there, you have to bring them into your fold. Because with my own experience, I've been working with many big stars, good actors, mediocre actors, very bad actors, non-actors. But I think there are many people who has that tremendous power of imbibing a character. And there are so many examples. If I start giving that list, the night will be over. But it's a very important question that we have to explore.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, and thank you, our viewers. We hope that you have enjoyed the show as much as we had in producing it.
My pleasure.
It was very difficult for us to get such an important person with such a tight schedule. Thank you, Nazreen, for coming along. Thank you, Keshaji, for coming along. And yes, sir, thank you.
My pleasure.
For coming along.
My pleasure, sir.
And adding glamour to our studio.
No, it's a wonderful studio and wonderful
one last message perhaps, those who are watching this, please do support these festivals and films, serious art, to celebrate life. I'm sure when you go to watch a film, you will go home with an inspiration for life, with a bit of different way to look at life.
Hopefully.
So please do come.
Thank
please
you
do
so
come
much
and
for
support.
that. There are 3 more days to the festival. Please come along.
Thank you.